Solving for a side. So we're going to solve for a side using the Pythagorean Theorem, which has the equation, right, as a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. So for you to have a triangle like this, let's go ahead and redraw this. This would be our A, this is our B, this is our C. So what we're saying, right, is we're just going to go ahead and solve for any of these sides. So it could be A, B, or C. So let's go ahead and look at example 1. So below is a simple diagram of a ramp. So the height is 5 feet and the length is 12 feet. We're going to find the length of the ramp, C, in the diagram below using the Pythagorean Theorem. So if we can see, right, this is also labeled for us. If we had a ramp, we have a height of 5, the length, right, we said it was 12, and we're looking for C, the whole length of the ramp. So let's go ahead and fill in the equation. So if A is equal to 5, B is equal to 12, C is what we're trying to find. So we have A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. So what's A? So that's 5 squared plus B, which is 12 squared, which is equal to C squared. Now, 5 squared, which is just 5 times 5, right? The base number and the exponent tells us how many copies we have of it. So we just go 5 times 5, so that's 25. And then 12 squared is 12 times 12, which is 144. And that's equal to C squared. Now, the next step would be, we can just go ahead and add 25 plus 144. So let's get our calculators out. So we got 25 plus 144. And what do we get? Well, we got 169. And this is equal to C squared. Now, the thing is, C squared is not the actual length, right? So this is just the area, right, that this makes. So essentially, right, this right here, if we were to draw it all out, that's equal to 169. So in order just to find this one side, C, what we do, right, is we just go ahead and take the square root on both sides. So what is that? On the right-hand side now, if we take the square root of something like C squared, it's just equal to C. Now when we get our calculators out, now we take the square root of 169, so we have our 169, and then we see this button over here, we take the square root, and that's equal to 13. So what happens? So C is equal to 13 feet, which is what we're looking for, and that makes sense. So 13, right? C is equal to 13, so that's how that works out. So now we know C is equal to 13. Now let's do the next example. So example 2, we're going to find the length of A in the diagram below using the Pythagorean Theorem. So what's we have A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Now A, we're trying to find B and C. Well, let's look at this. Well, A looks to be kind of like the height of this triangle. B looks to be here, which is equal to A. It's the length. And then the hypotenuse, which is the longest side, right? Always the longest side is going to be the hypotenuse, which will be our C, and that's 10. So now let's go ahead and start to plug in all these values. Well, A squared, we still don't know what A is, plus B squared, so that's plus 8 squared equals then C squared, so that C is 10 squared. So now let's go ahead and solve for all these exponents. So a squared, which is just 8 times 8, is equal to 64. And then 10 times 10 squared is just 10 times 10, so that's 100. Then we have a squared on the left-hand side. A squared plus 64 equals 100. So we want to get a squared by itself. So all we do is go ahead and subtract 64 on both sides. This gets rid of a here. Then we have to do it to the right-hand side. So 100 minus 64, which is 36. But if you are unsure, go ahead and let's just put this in the calculator. So 36. And then we have a squared on one side. So in order to get rid of the square, so for it just to be a, we take the square root on both sides. This gets us to a, which is equal to, taking the square root of 36, well, we take the square root of 36, we get 6, so a is equal to 6, because a squared, which is 6 squared, which is 6 times 6, is equal to 36. So that makes sense. So we have a is equal to 6.